Welcome to Fox Racing PlayStation. Welcome to a new season of racing. We are in the Grand Theft Championship. 10 races with the GTE car and the chosen car. First ever time that we voted in the old Fox Racing PlayStation between the Ford, the Ferrari and the Porsche. The chosen one was the Ford GTE. So 10 races in 5 tracks. Starting round 1, race 1 here at the Indianapolis road course, and it should be a good track for racing. Look at the field. We have 11 drivers here today, and we are going to go through the field as usual, as Darren Head is on pole position from Diogo Silva. Second row, it is Dale Taylor and Simon Allen. Third row, Scott Davesley and Jorge Jesus. Fourth row, Kev Allen and Gonçalo Mota. Fifth row, it is John Scott and Wayne Robinson. And alone in the sixth row is David Emke. As we are about to go trackside with the pole position man, Darren Head. We have 15 laps here, relatively short lap. And away they go, and Diogo Silva immediately tries to go to Darren Head's side. In fact, he tucks in behind Darren Head. They are 4 wide, almost into the first corner. Look at this, Diogo Silva and Darren Head going at it. Diogo Silva on the inside, now on the outside. But Darren Head is going to lead into turn 1 of this race. And and the tap there, Darren Head spins. Darren Head has been tapped. Oh, and they get hit now by another driver. This is oh dear, 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 dear. Let's get the replay of this incident between the two, well, the top 2 in the previous championship, which was the Transatlantic Cup. Let's have a look at what happened here, as Diogo Silva now tries to go on the outside. Didn't quite work there, but then there's going to be contact. Oh, just a very, very small tap, but enough to put Darren into, and Diogo Silva also getting hit as he is potentially waiting for Darren Head to go through. Simon Allen has gone into the lead of this race. Let's go and see the leaders. There's a driver there, I think in the 4th place. That was Gonçalo Mota running wide there in that yellow car. Simon Allen leads the race from Jorge Jesus as the 2 leaders collide in the first corner. So drama already here. And let's have a look at what's happening in there with Diogo Silva and Darren Head. Diogo Silva in 9th spot, Darren Head now in 10th. And Dale Taylor and look at David Emge up into 7th place. That's quite a nice start by David. Remember, and something has happened to Kev Allen. Something has happened to Kev Allen. I think Kev Allen was the driver that hit Darren Head in the back and put Darren upside down. So another front runner. Let's have a look at what happened there with the bumper camera. As you can see, Darren Head has no rear wing, although it will magically reappear. And how did this happen? Because Kev was out of control as well. Let's have a look here at the replay. Kev is in 7th place. He's trying to go on the inside. Contact there between the 2 drivers, and he's going to lose it. Is he? Oh no, he's got, oh! And Kev did have a bit of assistance. Kev did have a bit of assistance in joining Darren Head, and that was, I think, Jorge Jesus and Scott Davesley contact there, and then and Jorge Jesus did come back to the racing line a bit too quickly, as Kev is, Kev Allen and Darren Head, 2 drivers that we normally expect at the front of the field, are now 10th and 11th, as Diogo Silva is dropping back. I think he's probably just waiting to give the position back to Darren. Let's see, we have quite an interesting group forming up here, with some quick drivers having trouble on the opening lap and probably having to recover through the field. So keep an eye on that, as Simon Allen is leading this race. We'll go back to the race lead in just a moment, as Ooh, look at Kev Allen. Nicely done there by Kev. Look at that. This is quite... And Darren Head in 10th place. But I think Diogo is going to let him through the start-finish line. That seems to be the case. So that's good to see. Old Fox Racing PlayStation etiquette. Now Diogo will absolutely have to defend from Kev Allen, and Kev has absolutely nothing to lose here. Let's go back to the race lead and well, might as well follow this group for a little while longer, because Darren Head is oh, and Kev Allen hits the back of Diogo Silva. So Darren Head is now trying to go around David Demke. David down to 8th place. Wayne Robinson, look at him, he's up into 6th place, but Dale Taylor is going around. Dale Taylor going around on the outside, and I think that's probably going to be a job done. Diogo Silva now, and Darren Head are at it again. And look at this, Diogo Silva now on the inside. Oh, and contact again between the two drivers. Contact again between Darren Head and Diogo Silva. And Diogo Silva also goes around David Demke, so does Darren Head. So, oh, look at that. That's Kev Allen trying to go around Darren Head as well. So these drivers, well, probably should be working together a little bit more to go up the field. Instead, they're just busy trying to overtake one another. Look at this, Darren Head side by side with Kev Allen. This normally would be for the lead, but in fact it's for 9th place, as Kev is absolutely not giving up here. Darren Head now seems to me that he's ahead, and Diogo Silva also is cleared Wayne Robinson. Wayne down into 8th place. Let's go back to the race leader. And something has happened to Simon Allen. Something has happened to Simon Allen. Simon Allen is no longer the leader of this race. We missed a move for the lead, so we'll definitely rewind and see what happened with race leader Simon Allen. As well, Simon was leading. Now it's Jorge Jesus' turn to lead. It seems to me it was just a normal overtake, and didn't really happen that probably in the first corner, I would say. Yes, it was. And look at this, that's Simon Allen in turn 1, a bit of a dive there by Jorge Jesus, but fair enough, and nicely done there, as Jorge does not lose momentum with that overtake, and Scott Nevely is up into a podium position. Then a bit of a lock up there by Jorge Jesus, and these three drivers now have a big chance at starting the season with a win, as basically the front row collided. We'll keep an eye on the battle there as at the back as drivers recover, but Scott Davley is also looking quite good here, as he's really now getting to the back of Simon Allen. Jorge Jesus continues to lead this race. Simon Allen led the opening lap. Now it is Jorge Jesus the leader, as we'll go trackside again with the race leader Jorge Jesus. And on the start-finish line we'll be able to see other drivers there at the back, namely Gonçalo Mota, John Scott, also involved in quite a heavy battle. That's 4th and 5th, and then there is a bit of a gap. Del Taylor is in a 6th spot. Now the top three are absolutely nose to tail, and look at that there at the back. Look at that there at the back. That's Gonçalo Mota defending from John Scott, as Diogo Silva is up into 7th place, as we saw. And no action here between these two drivers. Let's go back to the race lead, as Jorge Jesus continues to lead this race, lap 3 out of 15, but we already had enough action for the entire race. And let's see here at the back straight, the relative gaps. Jorge Jesus with 7/10 of a second. Scott Nevely continues to go very close to Simon Allen, as John Scott tucks in behind Gonçalo Mota. Del Taylor 6th. Darren Head is already up to 8, and as expected as well, Kev Allen is up into 9th spot. So now let's see what these drivers can do in 7th, 8th and 9th. Let's keep an eye on their pace. Look at last lap. Del Taylor was very quick indeed, but no one was quicker than this man. 1:22.701. That is a very good time indeed. And it seems to me that George is actually opening a gap here. And he's got now a commanding lead of more than a second, surely almost 2 seconds. Jorge Jesus is flying here at the Indianapolis road course. So let's see again the battles here between Scott Davely and Simon Allen, and this is again Gonçalo Mota defending from John Scott, and you can see that 4 drivers behind are very quick drivers indeed, and they are blindly fast, going blindly fast there. Del Teller 122.420, Diogo Silva 122.435, and then Darren Head and Caval, and still a bit slower, but we do expect a bit of a group to be created there behind, potentially behind Gonçalo Mota. We'll keep an eye there as Jorge Jesus continues to lead this race, and Scott Davely has not given up the chase for second position. Number 9, Simon Allen, led the opening lap and now is in second place, followed by Scott Davely. Gonçalo Mota, oh look at this, Gonçalo Mota has made a mistake there. Gonçalo Mota has made a mistake. Here comes John Scott. John Scott up into 4th place, and we already can see Del Teller recovering, because these 2 drivers tangling is absolutely what Del Teller wants to see. And look at Del Teller, he's absolutely flying. Del Teller is absolutely flying. Gonçalo Mota trying to come back, and John Scott will keep an eye on this battle, as now John Scott is going defensive into the start-finish line. Here comes Del Teller as well, already joined that battle. And look at this drivers just weaving that Ford GTE back and forth. And here comes Gonçalo Mota on the inside of turn 1, and Gonçalo is back into 4th place. Let's see if he can keep the position. Del Teller is already with his headlights on, because he says, I am coming here, I'm absolutely coming for this 5th place of John Scott. And here comes Del Teller now side by side. Not the ideal overtaking point there, but it seems to me that potentially is going to work. Or is it a run side by side for a moment? Oh, look at this, that's Diogo Silva. Wow! Diogo Silva. Where did he come from? He recovered an enormous amount of ground. Let's have a replay of that move. He's behind. Oh, they tried to run side by side here through the chicane. Probably not the greatest idea, as Diogo Silva picks Del Teller and is going to go into the inside of John Scott as well. So Diogo Silva now up into 5th place. John Scott is 6th. 7th is Del Teller. 8th and 9th are Darren Head and Caval, continue to run very close indeed, as probably losing a little bit of time in the process as well. Let's go back to the race leader. That's Jorge Jesus. Simon Allen and Scott Davely now separated by a little bit more, as now this is an interesting group. That number 8 yellow car is look at Cavallan on Darren Head. This has been an absolutely epic battle there, side by side now through the start finish line. And this is the kind of racing that we expected to see here with the Ford GTE. Here comes Del Teller on the inside of John Scott. Seems to me job done for Del Teller, up into 6th place. Del Teller up into 6th spot. Nicely done there. Move in turn 1. Although Dale locked up a little bit, it was a very clean move. Look at Gonçalo Mota defending from Diogo Silva, and it seems to me you're going to see some action here, as Diogo is trying to do the same as he did last lap to John Scott. Look at this, can he do it? He's going to go on the inside up into 4th place, not quite as Gonçalo Mota does defend very well indeed. Oh, now almost contact as Gonçalo slid there at the exit of the corner. And oh, Diogo Silva spins, oh! Diogo Silva spins on his own, and now is down into 9th spot, as let's have a replay of that spin. He did not have any assistance whatsoever. He just was trying too hard at the exit of the corner, and ooh, nicely done there by Del Teller, almost getting collected but avoiding the spinning for GTE. Del Teller up into 5th place. So now Gonçalo Mota still 4th, Del Teller up to 5th, 6th is John Scott, and look at Darren Head and Kev Allen, they absolutely together basically since the beginning of the race, as they now complete another lap. Oh, and something has happened to Jorge Jesus and to Simon Allen. Something has happened to Jorge Jesus. Oh, disaster for the race leader as he spins, and Simon Allen absolutely nowhere to go. Oh, Scott Davely into the lead of this race. Scott Davely, the American driver, leading in America. Now he's going to lead lap 6 of this race from Simon Allen. In second place, Simon Allen bizarrely retains second place. Look at these, some drivers that have been delayed. They're not actually that far behind the leaders, as the field is still pretty much joined up. That number 52 is the new leader, Scott Davely. Can he win at home in Indianapolis? Not far from where he is in America, so we might as well say he's playing at home, and he's leading, and the crowd is absolutely loving it. That number 52 Ford. Second place, bizarrely, is Simon Allen. Simon Allen retains second place as he collided with a stationary Jorge Jesus. Ended up losing time, but also overtaking Jorge in the process. Third is Jorge Jesus from the lead of the race. He has a very low downforce. Oh, it's someone has happened there. Gonçalo Mota and Del Taylor. Gonçalo Mota and Del Taylor have got together. Gonçalo Mota and Del Taylor, or was it... well, what on earth happened there? Let's go on board with Dale. And I think Dale just lost it. No, there was no contact. Dale just lost it. Oh no, Gonçalo got out of shape. And Gonçalo got out of shape and was hit in the back by Dale. Dale now into 8th place and now losing a bit more time. And where is Diogo Silva? He is still in 9th spot. Let's go on board with the new man in 5th place. That is John Scott. And Gonçalo Mota, absolutely brilliant drive. He is absolutely not letting anyone through, but with clean defending, he's doing a great job in 4th place. Now John Scott has Darren Head for company, and behind Darren is guess who? Kev Allen. Kev Allen up into 7th place as let's see this group of drivers outside of the top 3. Look at that, that's Darren Head on John Scott. Darren Head on John Scott. Darren Head, nicely done, and here comes Kev Allen as well, and John Scott is going to lose 2 positions in a matter of 1 corner. John Scott down into 7th as Kev Allen goes up into 6th, and Darren Head up into 5th. Nice race here as we'll keep an eye on the top 3. Scott Davely continues to lead, and we are past the midpoint of this race, but look at this action again between Kev Allen and Darren Head is absolutely brilliant. Kev Allen outbraked himself there a little bit, and John Scott is right in the mix, and here comes Dale Taylor again. Dale Taylor is right on the back. Oh no, Dale Taylor has run wide again in the same place. Dale Taylor has run wide again in the same corner, but he loses a bit of time, but no position, as Diogo Silva is still in 9th place. Let's go back and see the full group. And Gonçalo Mota is checked out of Darren Head as well. Gonçalo Mota has basically almost 2 seconds advantage over Darren Head, and here is the action with Darren Head, Kev Allen, John Scott, under pressure from Dale Taylor, and there at the back is Diogo Silva, and 10th place. Oh no, Dale Taylor has had a problem. Dale Taylor has had a problem. That driver is Dale Taylor, and he was not in 9th spot the last time we checked. Oh, he spun on his own, and gets collected by Diogo Silva. And twice as he spins. And very eventful race right now for the likes of Dale Taylor. Also, Diogo Silva has had more incidents in this race than in perhaps the whole season combined of the Transatlantic Cup. He's running 8th now, but some action is about to happen here as someone has locked up big time. I think it was possibly Darren or John. And look at the race for the lead. The gap is declining. The gap at the front is declining. Simon Allen is back into this race. Simon Allen is back into this race. There's only 15 seconds. Oh, it's, Scott Devlin has made a mistake there. Scott Devlin has made a mistake. Here comes Kev Allen. Sorry, Simon Allen. Simon Allen is the new leader of the race. He recovers the lead as that number 52 drops back to second. Simon Allen, that number 9, is going to lead another lap. He led the opening lap. Now he's going to lead lap 9 as we are getting to the second half of this race. Change of leader again. Scott Devlin has made a mistake and Simon Allen is the new leader. Scott Devlin drops to second and here comes George Jesus. Keep an eye on that battle again and look at this. Gonçalo Mota is now with Darren Head for company and here comes Kev Allen again. John Scott is behind these drivers. He's in 7th place. Diogo Silva in 8th. As Darren Head is now putting pressure on Gonçalo Mota. And Gonçalo has resisted pressure from Diogo Silva, has resisted pressure from John Scott. Now he has multiple champion Darren Head for company. And Darren, no stranger to this car either. And he is going to absolutely try to salvage something from this race. 4th place is better than nothing. And every point will count for this Grand Theft Championship. 10 races. This is race 1 out of 10. And here comes Darren Head now. Perhaps a move on the inside. There, no, he's going to go on the outside as Gonçalo covers the inside. And Gonçalo has a relatively slow exit out of this corner, and this has caused trouble as well. But now he's done an absolutely perfect exit. Now look at Darren Head. Look at Darren Head. He's very much in a position to make a move here on the inside, but he chooses to go on the outside. Will he switch to the inside? Yes, is the answer. And Darren Head is going ahead. Darren Head is no. Gonçalo Mota, nicely done. Nice defense there. And here comes Kev Allen as well. Not as close racing as the Ginetta, but still pretty good for a GTE car. And this is only race 1. Just wait until we get a few more races of experience for every one of these drivers as Gonçalo Mota tries now to defend, go defensive on the inside as Darren Head is going to go now on the inside there off turn 1. It's a bit of a late move and here comes Kev Allen on the outside. Kev Allen, what a move there. Kev Allen, absolutely brilliant, taking advantage of Darren losing momentum. Kev Allen is gone up into 5th place. Kev Allen up into 5th place. 6th is Darren Head, and then is John Scott and Diogo Silva and Dale Taylor. They are a bit further back in this group. Someone is that Dale Taylor? Dale Taylor, has he spun? No. Or was that an optical illusion? Well, it was an optical illusion as Dale Taylor is alive and kicking in 9th place. 10th place is Wayne Robinson and 11th is David Emke. Let's go back to the race leader as Jorge Jesus is up into 2nd place. Jorge Jesus has gone up into 2nd place. Scott Davley is losing a little bit of steam. We'll get the replay of that move now that we are on lap 11 out of 15, but since we have not seen the leaders in a while, well, this move happened a while ago, but still worth seeing because it was a move for 2nd place, and it was probably here. Yes, it was here, and not because of any mistake by Scott, but just because George on the inside there, and nicely done there by both drivers as George goes up into 2nd spot. Question now is, can Jorge Jesus challenge for the lead of this race as Simon Allen is the leader? Now end of lap 10, beginning of lap 11, and we'll follow. We've seen what happened there with Darren Head, Kev Allen, but we'll definitely get the replay of that on the onboard of Kev Allen. This was an absolutely brilliant move. Look at this, Gonçalo Mota going defensive. Darren Head nonetheless going on the inside, but here comes Kev Allen on the grippier part of the track and just takes Darren up into 5th spot. Let's go on board now with Scott Davley. Can Scott, well, he's already lost a few car lengths to Jorge Jesus, so it seems to me that Jorge has better pace at this point. There'll be 4 laps to go at the line, relatively short laps. So let's continue following the chase camera of different drivers. As we can see, the top three still in the same screenshot, only 1.4 seconds between first and third. Kev Allen is absolutely trying to overtake Gonçalo Mota. Darren Head trying to recover some ground. He lost a bit of ground to Kev Allen. We are going to be very soon on lap 12. And where is John Scott? John Scott is not far behind Darren. And Diogo Silva is trying to go back into 7th place, trying to salvage something from this race. And trying to hold on to John Scott, potentially trying to make a move later on in the lap. It seems to me that they are... Let's see how is Kev Allen and Gonçalo Mota, how are they positioned here in turn 1. Gonçalo again going defensive. Diogo Silva not close enough to make a move into turn 1. Darren Head trying to also surprise Kev with a move back into 5th place, but this is good racing here between these three drivers. Oh, look at this. Darren has got a better exit, and can he do something? Can Darren go now through the chicane more quickly than Kev Allen? Seems to me that he can. And here comes Darren Head back into 5th place. Darren Head back into 5th place. Is he? No. Kev Allen is going defensive. Darren Head is not sure about going into the inside, but he does so. He does so, and the side contact between these two drivers. Darren Head loses a bit of momentum there, but still is going to. And the Diogo Silva also has overtaken John Scott. How did this happen? We'll get the replay of that move, as he was it in turn 1? No, it wasn't in turn 1, it was in turn 2. Better exit there from turn 2, and job done there by Diogo Silva. But let's have a look at this replay from Kev Allen's perspective, as he was, well, not particularly fast through the chicane on this particular lap 12. And Darren Head not sure about going on the inside, but decides to do so. Nicely done there. Breaks in time. Side contact between these two drivers. A bit of pushing and shoving, and now Kev is obviously has to leave some room for Darren. But I'll tell you who is loving this battle. It's Gonçalo Mota, because he's still in 4th place, and other drivers are basically scrambling back and forth. Diogo Silva up into 7th spot. And look at the battle for the lead here, as oh, I do apologize for this mistake. Just pressed the wrong button. We'll need to fast forward this quickly to lap 12. So bear with us, as we basically have to go back to lap 12, and we'll do so with Simon Allen. So what a race it has been so far. We weren't quite sure about the amount of close racing with GTE cars, but it certainly has been a pleasant surprise. Lots of overtaking, lots of good moves, but still a bit of an adaptation period here by the old folks to GTE cars. So we do expect to see better racing in the coming rounds. That also happened with the Ginetta, where the first round at Brands Hatch we saw lots of mistakes, but then second and third round they were absolutely brilliant rounds. So we do expect to see better racing, even better than this, in the coming rounds. Next round is at Mugello, nice track for a GTE race. But so far we like what we're seeing, because although we're seeing still a bit too many mistakes, we are seeing actual overtaking moves with this car. So definitely seems to be the right car to use in this Grand Theft Championship, as we are already on lap 5 following Simon Allen. Unfortunately, because we pressed the wrong button, got teleported back to the start. But just a few more laps, and everything will be sorted, as we see here a very fast replay of that incident that Jorge Jesus had, spinning on his own and then getting collected by Simon Allen. That's the type of mistake I was alluding to. Still quite a lot of spins with no assistance with this car, as the old folks get used to it. but hopefully everything will improve in the coming round. Lap 8 already, so we'll keep following. We were trying to follow leader Simon Allen on lap 13 of 15 and just visualize the gap to second placeman Jorge Jesus, and the battle for the win surely is going to be between these two drivers, as Scott Lively now is a little bit too far behind. But never say never, as until the last lap mistakes are possible. And now we'll see certainly Jorge Jesus go up into second place here, yeah. And now is lap 11, just a couple more laps to go. And also curious on how that battle for fourth place is going to pan out. And I think this was, no, it wasn't here, it was, because we've seen lap 12. It is the beginning of lap 13 that we are interested in. So we'll go back live very shortly, as yes, around here, as the two leaders are now separated by just 0.6 of a second. And it seems to me that it's going to be between these two. Lap 12 is completed, lap 13 is started. Let's go and have a look at battle for fourth. Here is Gonçalo Mota, Darren Head, Kev Allen, Diogo Silva and John Scott. And they've opened a big gap to Dale Taylor. Dale Taylor probably is going to finish 9th unless there are bigger tangles here. We'll keep an eye on the battle for the lead, but the gap is declining to now just half a second. Darren Head trying desperately to overtake Gonçalo Mota, but Gonçalo has been probably the driver of the day so far, because he's been battling every single car, and now he is battling Darren Head, and Darren Head is on the inside. This is what he did to Kev Allen, and now it's nicely done there by Darren Head up into fourth place. Darren Head up into fourth spot, and Gonçalo Mota gets overtaken. Here comes Kev Allen. Oh, and Gonçalo Mota runs wide there. Gonçalo Mota runs wide. Here comes Kev Allen. Here comes Diogo Silva, and Gonçalo Mota, basically his first mistake of the day, but now down into 7th spot. Let's go and see the race for the... Oh, look at this! Jorge Jesus is within half a second of leader Simon Allen. 2 laps to go here. 2 laps to go here, and it's not over as he tries to go and make a move, but he was too far behind. Simon Allen is leading this race. 2 laps to go. 2 laps to go here. We'll keep an eye on other battles, but it is absolutely battle for the lead. Look at this. George. Oh, George. Oh! George was trying to go on the inside there, but really he was coming from way behind and ends up doing a half spin. And in fact, he's going to lose second place, is he? He's going to lose second place. Yes, he's going to lose second place. Up to second goes Scott Lively. So now, Simon Allen. Simon Allen, just 1.5 laps to go. There's a battle there at the back that we should check as well how it's going. That's the battle for fourth place now between Darren Head, Kev Allen and Diogo Silva, as Gonçalo Mota is trying to defend that 7th place from John Scott. But let's have a look at oh, look at this. Jorge Jesus again with a good exit from this corner and could try to make the same move on Scott Lively. It's again for second place. This is the beginning of the last lap, and here comes, it's almost a carbon copy of that move, and Scott Lively tries to come back at him, but Jorge Jesus definitely very strong in this last section. And I'll tell you who's loving this. That is Simon Allen, who has almost a 5-second gap now. The last lap has started, and still the battle for second is on. Look at this, there's a battle there for fourth between Darren Head, Kev Allen and Diogo Silva. Here comes Scott Lively. Scott Lively here comes into turn 1, no. Darren Head maintains. Look at this, look at Kev Allen. Kev Allen was thinking about the move, but these three are now absolute nose to tail. This is the last lap. What a last lap we have here. Battle for second place. battle also for 4th place. Well, now Jorge Jesus has opened a bit of a gap, but look at this battle. There, how many championships and race wins we have between these 3 drivers. They are now battling for 4th place. Here comes Diogo Silva on the inside of Kev Allen, and Diogo Silva tried to go for a move for 5th place on the last lap. No contact, no. And look at this, they're side by side, contact now between these 2 drivers, and almost, and well, we will get the replay of this certainly, because there was contact there on the last lap between Diogo Silva and Kev Allen. Let's have a look from Kev Allen's onboard. Well, it's the last lap of the race. Kev Allen is trying to defend the inside here, and he gives Diogo room, as there is a slight no contact here. Amazingly, no contact between these 2 drivers, but still room for the 2 of them. And now this is where the contact happens, and Kev Allen loses a bit of time. Let's go on the onboard chase camera from Diogo Silva's view, as well, they're basically running side by sides for 3 or 4 corners in a row in the place that normally does not allow for. Now this is the first move. Diogo and Kev give room to another. Diogo is ahead, but now Kev comes in, a bit of pushing and shoving there, but and Diogo now is well, a racing incident probably is the verdict here, as Simon Allen is going to win, but well, Kev Allen was trying to go on the inside. It didn't quite work, and there was a bit of contact last lap. Simon Allen wins the race. 2nd is Jorge Jesus. 3rd is Scott Devlin. 4th is going to be Darren Head. 5th is going to be Diogo Silva. 6th is going to be Kev Allen. 7th is going to be Gonçalo Mota. 8th is going to be John Scott. 9th is going to be Dale Taylor, and he's not going to be happy with that, hoping for better things in race 2. 10th is going to be Wayne Robinson, and we'll follow the last few corners with some of the drivers that we haven't seen that much. Wayne Robinson completing the race in 10th, and David Emge completing the race in 11th. So definitely a lot of mistakes, hard racing, good overtaking moves, others not so much, and Simon Allen emerges on top from Jorge Jesus and Scott Davely. That's your top 3 of the opening race of this season, as we see that number 19 finishing now the race. David Emge finishing 11th, and this has been a great race. We shall see you very shortly in race 2.